Hello, my name is Scott for SB Gaming, and today I'm bringing you Cities Skylines. I've been looking forward to playing this game back on the 10th. It is currently March 26th. Back on the 10th, I had attempted, when it was just released, to jump in the game and get a Let's Play started. At the time, I didn't have a channel going. I was just starting to post videos, and I didn't want to fall behind, and I wanted to jump on the wave of the Let's Plays and all that were hitting. Unfortunately, I was obviously a week behind. All the YouTubers and streamers who got access to the game got access to it much earlier than the actual embargo, which was a week prior to release. And so they had time to spend with the game. So they had a grasp of how to play or what to do in the game when they finally were able to start posting videos. Unfortunately, what happened back on March 10th when I loaded up the game is, even though I had watched many of those streamers, including Quill18, Skystorm, and one or two others, I think Arumba was in there as well, not to drop names or anything, even though I had watched these YouTubers play and I had a grasp of the game, and you figure, oh, I've watched plenty of videos on this, I should be able to have no problems. I've seen all the mistakes that they've made, and so I should be able to do better, right? Nope. Oh, I jumped in the game. I not even had a chance to look in the game, try out the menus, try out the user interface, figure out where everything was, and I decided to just start playing. And it was an utter disaster. I was not happy with how it turned out, and I decided to say, screw it. And I ended up deciding I'm going to spend a day or two just playing around with the game, just get a feel for it before I would be happy or satisfied with being able to actually present it. And it got to the point where a few days went by, and actually my first day playing, I spent 16 hours, as you can probably imagine. And then I spent another 12 hours the next day playing. And I'm thinking, okay, when am I going to actually record? Well, as it turns out, I was busy with some other things. I ended up getting sick last week as well. So that put everything back. And so now I'm finally 2 weeks into it. I am finally getting into City Skylines. And if you haven't had a chance to see my preview video that I posted, I don't know, about a week ago, week and a half ago, you can see that I have spent a bit of time. At the time, I had about 30 hours in the game. And I got a city that was about 40,000 people, $1.5 million in the bank. And so I had a pretty good understanding of how the game works and flows, how the traffic works. Let's jump into this. I don't know how long this video is going to be. This might be a little bit longer because I rambled on here in this first intro video. Anyway, I am going to be playing on a custom map I found on the workshop, and I've downloaded a fair amount of stuff, so let's take a look at the content manager. So as you can see here, these are all the mods I have, and one of the first mods I downloaded, actually I downloaded a mod that allowed you to purchase all 25 areas. I actually subscribed to a different one instead, and I think they both work the same way, but yeah. But the second mod I definitely had was the Trippy Exterminator. As much as CO had this idea of it being able to provide you with some useful information, in most cases it's hard to separate the chaff from the wheat, to use an analogy. Half the time you're like, why does this have to do with me? Or you might get a comment saying, we love green energy, as soon as you put down a turbine. It's like, I don't need to know that. I know that you like the green energy. And there's all these other random chirps that pop up when you do something that they approve of, or maybe that they disapprove of, but it's like, okay, I do this and I get this chirp, and then you have these other ones which alert you to problems, but if you're avoiding all the ones that are just useless and don't make any sense, then, yeah, after a while, I was like, I don't see anything here that I really, really need to know as a mayor. Anyway, enough of that. I also have the refund mod. It removes bulldoze and relocation costs. Actually, I may have to check that. From what I understand, it's supposed to still have a time limited. And actually, I didn't realize it also does the relocation cost. That would explain why when I was relocating buildings, it wasn't costing me anything. Oh, that's interesting. But the normal refund is about 75% after you lay down a road and you make a mistake and you get a refund of 75% back. And I just wanted the full 100% just because if I make a mistake, I just want to get rid of it, and I don't want to lose any money just by trying different things and not liking how the tool wants to place things. And then you're building and you're destroying and building and destroying. All of a sudden you're out of money. I also got the no purple tan color. It changes the ground color caused by pollution. And yeah, the purple is just stupid. The tan blends in. You don't really see it unless you're close up. And I just think it looks a little bit better. The extended road upgrade. I did have this turned on before, but when Colossal Order added in the ability to upgrade two-way roads to one-ways and back and change the direction, I turned it off, mostly because it was the same functionality. Some people prefer this actual mod rather than the way that Colossal Order did it in the game, and I haven't really spent any time comparing the two, so I've turned it off for now, just because, the functionality that the mod existed, the reason why it was there, I don't need it anymore. Then the auto align color, this is really good. When you set down like a bus line or a metro line, it will change the color of the line to something different, and it will give it a default name. And that's really nice because by default, all bus lines are blue, all metro lines are green, all train lines are orange. And you have to go in and try to find a different color for it. And this just makes it so I don't actually have to do it. It gives them all unique names for the lines. So if I like them, I can keep them. If I don't, I can change them. But, sometimes you don't want to have to change the name of the lines. And then I also have unlock basic roads. What it does is pretty much as it says. Rather than putting that single 2-lane road to unlock, the one-ways and all the other roads you would otherwise get, basically from the start, all the roads you get when you put down that first piece of road are unlocked. You don't have to put that stupid piece of road down first. I don't know why CO wanted to force you to, hey, in order to build all these other road types, you have to put down a single piece of two-way road. Yeah. Anyway, last two are toggle traffic lights. This is really cool because what it does is allows you to remove or add traffic lights at intersections. So now you can have that, that 2-lane divided, 4-lane, divided road, and have roads coming into it, and you can actually remove the intersections, the traffic lights. And so that means some of the road types will actually be useful because the traffic lights, they are really horrible with traffic. They, force traffic to stop and the stop and go, and traffic backs up. And often you find with the default traffic behavior, when you don't have any traffic lights, you end up getting the situation where traffic flows much smoother. There's no long traffic jams, and it's mainly because of the way that traffic lights work. And so this allows you to add them if you want, as well as remove them. So you can use a lot more traffic options and do a lot more cool stuff with roads, where you have different types of roads, and you don't have to say, okay, is this going to create a controlled intersection, or is it not going to create a controlled intersection? Lastly, Traffic++, it adds zonable pedestrian paths, and I have a few specific uses for this. It's really annoying that, for instance, to build a park, you actually have to have a road that has a zonable stuff on it. And so there's places where I'll have like this empty spot, and in order to be able to place a park in there, I have to extend a road and create an intersection. But you'll see what I mean in game. With this, I hope that it'll look a little bit better as well. There's other traffic options. You can have emergency vehicles like the hearses, police, and fire use these pedestrian paths as routes. So, you can have a pedestrian path through a downtown where only pedestrians can go, but you can also have, emergency vehicles going through those areas as well without having to go on the main roads, which could be quite interesting. And we'll see how it works in the game. Also, if we go to my map screen, you can see that I've downloaded a variety of different maps. I've taken a look at different maps that were on the Steam Workshop. I've also tried doing some new maps of my own, and I didn't like how the height map was working, how it imported, so I redid it and redid it. But what I will be doing is I will be using one of these maps, and I just found some of them really cool. You have here Isla Nublar, which is the map from Jurassic Park. I think it's map from the second or third movie, or second and third movies. Well, there's Galveston Island. It looked kind of interesting, but some of these, they were kind of interesting when I looked at them, and then they weren't all that when I actually got into the map. This Bora Bora, it's actually up to version 5 now, and I think I looked at it when it was at version 2. I actually gave some feedback to the map author. They updated to version 3 or 4, and it looks like they've improved it a bit more. It actually is quite cool. It's an island, and it's a very limited building space, and it could be quite interesting. And I had recorded some videos where I was reviewing these various maps, and I never really got around to editing them and posting them because I wasn't really didn't really get into doing my city skylines as I wanted to. As I mentioned earlier, I got sick, so it got completely threw off everything I was planning to do with City Skylines. Anyway, at this point, I've pretty much taken up most of what would be an episode. So what we are just going to do, the setup to get into a game. We are going to start a new game, and what we are going to do is start a new game. And what I was looking at is doing the map for Charleston. Of all the maps I've looked at, like, this is your one part of your main starting area. I think you start right around here, and there's a lot of useful or available building area. There is a lot of water, and what's really cool about this map is there is ship routes through here and up through here. So you can build cargo harbors all through here if you want to. It's really cool. Most maps like this, you might find you have the cargo ship routes come in through here and then stop here, which means that you can't build any cargo harbors here. It's quite limited. You might not build any here. And I was actually impressed with it so much that I am going to play it for my city. And so we are going to get started here, and I'm going to call it Charleston. If I decide to rename it, I think I actually can. We are not going to go with left-hand traffic. And as you can see, the water is a fairly high percentage on the map. Suitable area for building is 55%, and we have all the available connections. The map was created by Spazinski, and there is a reasonable amount of natural resources on the map. So let's get started. Alright, so we just jumped into the map here. And as you can see, this is the starting area of Charleston. And I believe this is probably going to be ore. I'd have to check for the resources. Yeah. Tutorial message. But I don't have access to the resource map. I believe this is ore, and I believe this is oil, which is a fairly significant amount. This is our highway into the city, and highway goes out there. I was actually impressed with the various how the placements of the various highway and rail connections. In a lot of the user maps, what they will do is they'll bring in the highway connection in to just one part of the map, and you might have an entire, for instance, if we go out here, you'll have this entire map that you can build on, and they'll just start here, bring in a highway connection, but that's it. There's nothing over here. And this is one of the first maps I've seen where there is some decent rail and highway connections, which is definitely is what I like here and around here. So a lot of useful connections that you can play around with. So the refund panel, bulldoze refund 80%. Oh, so with this you can actually bulldoze cost. So if you set it to 0, it means that there is no refund or cost. You go up to 100%. That means it probably costs as if the building costs $10,000 to put down. If you want to build or bulldoze it, it's going to cost you $10,000. So actually, this refund mod is actually quite interesting. Apparently, only when paused. So these stats probably only apply when the game's paused. Is that it? And so you can have the bulldoze cost 100%, or you can have it refund to 100%. So the default is 75%, and it looks like you can only go up in increments of 10. Relocation cost. So, yep. And the relocation cost is normally 20%, I believe. So this is the default. So if you want, you can drop the relocation cost down to 0%. It's nice to see the mod getting the mod getting updated and actually improved with some useful options. So this is what would be default. So if you want to keep it like that, if you still want it to cost that much, you can leave it there. It's not going to be free refunds or free relocation, bulldoze refund, and I'm assuming that's for everything. There's in the regular game, unmodded game, you get a refund up until a certain amount of time, so within a couple minutes. After that, after it's been down for a while, there is no refund. I don't know if it implements that, or if it's like you've put it down, then 10 hours later you decide to bulldoze it. If you get the full refund, that would be kind of silly and not really what I was looking for. Mainly for the refund mod, I was looking for something that will give me all the money back if I, put down a road and made the mistake and I want to move it or adjust it, or I didn't like how the road behavior worked. So I'm going to put it up for now at 100%. I'll keep a relocation cost at 20%, and it looks like I can just hide that away if I want to. It is kind of cool that you can move it around to wherever you want to hide it so it's out of the way. And as you can see, I have no chirpy. No chirpy. So, water, electricity, wind direction, and as you can see, it's the air or the wind speed is fairly low on the mainland, but here is a pretty nice place. I did attempt to play this before on this map, and so I know that you're going to get a pretty good wind speed on this map or on this area here. And we're obviously going to want to start on laying down your power and water. Probably one of the first things you do before you lay down a single piece of road, get the power and get the water down as soon as possible. How many you can probably look at YouTube and see how many people made the mistake of building up a city and then only to realize that they ran out of money when they tried to hook up the power and water. And I remember on my first attempt, that same thing happened to me. I built up, spent all my money, and I wasn't able to connect up the electricity and water, and it kind of sucked. Because that was pretty much game over. Now what this map is interesting is the water actually flows in this way. And I'm going to just take a look at this. I don't really know. I'm assuming this is based on the Charleston, was it North or South Carolina? I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's approximately there. And I'm assuming that this is inland and that's out to sea. Although I wouldn't know. I'd have to look it up on Google Maps. But I did like the look of this map, so that's why I'm playing it. But looking very closely, the map or the water, it's hard to see in here, but you go into water and the current is very faint, but it is coming from out to sea and flowing up that way. It does trick you a little bit, I think. Nope. Where is it? Is it over there? Yes, the water is fairly heavily down there and it comes through here. I think it comes out through there, and I can't really see it there. So, of course, you'll want to pay attention to where the arrows are, and I will definitely want to put my sewage way down there and put my water pumps up here. And so that's what I'm going to do. Let's lay down our water. And you know what? I may want to... Question is, how do I want to build up my city? There's probably going to be oil there. That's probably ore as well. This probably fertile land, that light green there. So, what plans do I have for this island? Definitely I have my power set up here. I'll probably build some other turbines in here. So, I probably should have thought a little bit more about how I want to build my city. If you've seen any of my other series, especially Factorio and to a degree Prison Architect, you know that the OCD, or as some might call the CDO, because you know the letters are in the right order in that case, can be fairly strong. So I am going to, yes, I can get very indecisive when things don't perfectly fit. I'm going to assume that this is going to be the ore industry, And so I'm probably going to have industry here, although I'll want to make sure that my water input pipes do not get polluted. I'll probably put some initial industry down here and probably do a residential island here. Alright, for now, what we are just going to do is, since I could spend hours trying to figure out where I want everything to be exactly. And alright, so I can click on those without any problems. In the pre-release copies, as you may know, if you put anything too close to the map of the border of the map, you wouldn't be able to click on it, but most likely they've changed that behavior since then, so it's not that much of an issue. So at this point, what I want to do, in keeping with how do I want to do this? I'll build this here, connect over to here, and run this over here. And this ensures that my city will have water and electrical production. And I have $53,000. I think we started with $70,000. So yeah, my advice, if you're starting out, put down the water and electricity first. Get it going so that you know for a fact you're not going to run into a situation where you end up building a whole whackload of stuff and find out, oh, I need to put some stuff down. So how do I want to do this? Apparently there is a highway ramp connecting this, and this is a little bit of a different intersection, or not, I think. No, yeah. Enough for that. Oh, gee. I'm on straight. Okay, well, that's really, ugh. Okay, I'm going to have an OCD moment because really? What if I run my... It's snapping there. Alright, at this point I might... Since my OCD is acting up, I'm going to end it here. I'm just going to figure out how I want to bring my traffic into the city. I'd probably spend an entire episode just figuring out exactly how I want these two, yeah. So rather than bore you with trying to, oh, okay, so get rid of that connection there, and the straight line is a little bit more straight. It didn't bend and curve exactly as you saw it there. So I'm just going to put this here for now, and we'll carry on with the next episode. And I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was rather lengthy and there was a lot of talk with the mods at the start, but it's 2 weeks in. There's a whole hell of a load of stuff on the workshop. I definitely recommend you check them out. There's a lot of useful stuff on there. Subscribe to the ones that you like and enjoy playing with them. My name is Scott for SB Gaming, and I hope you enjoyed this City Skylines. See ya next time. Bye-bye.